Hello and welcome to Kakaaki, the African Voice on Africa Independent Television, AIT. I am Chukuyenum Onwaka.
Hello everyone, excellent morning to you. This is Kakaaki, the African Voice. I am Onoshorena Obozige. Welcome to Friday, and it's TGIF.
Yes, it is. I'm always happy when it's Friday because the weekend is here. Let your hair loose, and relax, basically.
All right,
so at least 99 Nigerians died from Lassa fever in the first 8 weeks of this year.
Well, official data obtained from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, that's how it puts it.
Yes, the fatalities recorded in the first 8 weeks of 2026 surpassed the number reported during the same period in 2025.
Already, figures of suspected cases stand at 1,989 across 67 local government areas in 18 states of the Federation.
Now, according to the NCDC, 84% of all confirmed Lassa fever cases were reported from 5 states, which are Bauchi, Ondo, Taraba, Edo, and Benue.
And the NCDC also noted that 10 more health workers were affected in the first 8 weeks of 2026, bringing the total number of health workers affected by the disease to 28, a higher figure than was reported in 2025.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Nigerian Medical Association earlier in the week issued a joint advisory to doctors and other healthcare professionals across the country, urging heightened vigilance and strict adherence to infection prevention measures amid ongoing transmission of Lassa fever.
And now the advisory published on Monday by the agency's Director General Jide Idris warned that Lassa fever remains a significant public health concern in Nigeria, particularly during the dry season between November and April.
So why is this the case? We are no lessons, learned from previous outbreaks that claimed the lives of several Nigerians, including health workers. What do the health authorities need to do to ensure that Lassa fever does not rear its ugly head again? What steps must people take to prevent Lassa fever, and what can be done to save lives in case of a sudden outbreak?
Well, these are some of the questions we shall put to Professor Adamu Akala. He is a professor of infectious diseases epidemiology and director at the Global Health and Infectious Diseases Control at Nasarawa State University in Kefi.
From health, we turn to security matters, and a lot has been said on the need to decentralize policing in Nigeria.
A lot of the talks, both within and outside government and security circles, centers around the merit and demerit of creating state police.
In the recent past, some attempts at decentralizing security and maintaining law and order has been made.
And in the year 2000, the Hisba Police was introduced in Kano State primarily to enforce Sharia law.
In April 2021, the Ebuebwege security outfit was proclaimed by the government of the 5 southeastern states to combat crime. Ebuebwege was disbanded by the courts in 2023.
Well, that was the establishment of Ibuboagu, and the Western Nigeria Security Network, codenamed Operation Amotekun and simply known as the Amotekun, is a security outfit based in all 6 southwest states and was founded on 9 January 2020 in Ibadan, Oyo State. It has been operating with a great degree of success, complementing the work of the conventional security.
Most of Amotekun's recent activity has been in Ondo State, where alongside conventional security agencies, the Corps has been waging war against bandits, terrorists, and other forms of criminals.
So we have security watchers who have said that Amotekun's effectiveness for the past 6 years suggests the need to bring security closer to the people and in an arrangement where they have a major say.
On Kakaaki, the African Voice this Friday, we'll be taking a look at what Amotekun has been doing in the last 6 years and why it provides that hope that decentralization of security in Nigeria is indeed possible.
Adetunji Adeleye is the commander of the Amotekun Corps, and he joins us this morning on the program to share his thought on decentralized security.
Remember that you can be part of the program by sending your views and comments to all our social media handles on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. AIT Live at AIT Livestream 1, so you can stay up to date with the latest news from around the world.
And in the meantime, across our social media platforms, especially on YouTube, you may have to use Africa Independent Television in full. If you also type Africa Independent TV, it will bring you to us on YouTube.
And now, let's join our news desk for the world news. This is the world news on Kakaaki. You're welcome. Thousands of demonstrators marched to the United States Embassy in Athens to protest ongoing American and Israeli attacks on Iran. The rally, organized by left-wing and student groups, saw protesters chanting anti-war slogans and carrying Palestinian and Iranian flags. Greek police deployed several. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says recent Israeli airstrikes have killed several senior Iranian nuclear scientists involved in weapons development. In a video address, Netanyahu said the strikes targeted key figures linked to Iran's nuclear program, as well as facilities believed to store drones. The Israeli military earlier confirmed launching a new round of large-scale air attacks across Iran. Netanyahu also criticized Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, describing him as a figure controlled by the Revolutionary Guards. He told Iranians that the military pressure could create conditions for change within the country, saying Israel's actions were aimed at weakening the government and opening what he described as a path towards freedom. Air defense systems were activated across the Iranian capital, Tehran, following fresh airstrikes late Thursday amid the escalating conflict in the Middle East. The development comes as Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, vowed to continue attacks against Gulf states and threatened to close the strategic Strait of Hormuz as leverage against the United States and Israel. It was his first public statement since succeeding his father, who was reportedly killed in an Israeli strike. In a statement broadcast on state television, Khamenei pledged to avenge those killed in the war, including victims of an earlier strike on a school that reportedly left more than 160 people dead. The renewed hostilities have raised concerns about disruptions to global energy supply and regional stability. The United States says it may soon begin escorting commercial vessels through the strategic Strait of Hormuz as tensions with Iran escalate. Speaking to Sky News, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the United States Navy could lead an international coalition to safeguard shipping routes once it is military feasible. The move follows threats by Iran's supreme leader to effectively close the key waterway linking the Persian Gulf to global markets. About 20% of the world's oil and gas passes through the strait, making it one of the most critical energy routes globally. Recent attacks on shipping and energy infrastructure in the Gulf have already pushed global oil prices above $100 per barrel, raising fears of wider economic disruptions. An investigation has revealed that Jeffrey Epstein used modeling agents to recruit girls, some Brazilian women, during an investigation by BBC revealed. In 2004, as a 16-year-old living in the Brazilian countryside, Glaucia Fekete was taking her first steps in the modeling world. She says French modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel visited her family home to persuade her mother to let her go to a modeling contest in Ecuador. He later killed himself in prison, accused of rape, sexual assault, and recruiting girls for the late U.S. financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The investigation in Brazil found evidence that Brunel used modeling agencies linked to him at the time to actively seek out young women and girls from South America for Epstein and to arrange visas for them to travel to the US. And that's it for the world news. Coming up is Kakaaki Business, and right after that, Kakaaki Sports. Do stay with us.
Welcome to Kakaaki Business. I am Olamide Ario. Tensions in the Middle East are still sending shock waves through energy markets, as today marks day 14 of the escalating conflict. Crude prices on Thursday surged to $100 per barrel after Iran intensified attacks on oil and transport infrastructure across the Middle East. At the same time, West Texas Intermediate climbed nearly 10% to about $96 per barrel, reflecting growing concerns over regional supply instability. Earlier on March 11, Iran's military command warned that global oil prices could skyrocket to as high as $200 per barrel following attacks on merchant vessels passing through the critical Strait of Hormuz, a choke point responsible for transporting a significant share of the world's oil. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration said it was launching two trade investigations into excess industrial capacity in 16 major trading partners and into forced labors, rebuilding tariff pressure after the Supreme Court tore down much of Trump's tariff program last month. China, the European Union, India, Japan, South Korea and Mexico are among partners that could face new tariffs by this summer under the investigation of unfair trade practices, said U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Other countries subject to the excess capacity probe under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974 are Taiwan, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Cambodia, Singapore, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Switzerland, and Norway. Canada, the second largest U.S. trading partner, was not included. China said on Thursday the U.S. claim of overcapacity was a false proposition and Beijing opposed political manipulation under this pretext. China is against all forms of unilateral tariff measure, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Yeo Yang-Quinn said at a press conference. And the U.S. trade deficit narrowed sharply in January as exports surged to a record high and import fell, a trend that, if sustained, could see trade contributing to economic growth in the first quarter. The trade gap contracted 25.3% to $54.5 billion, the Commerce Department Bureau of Economic Analysis and Census Bureau said on Thursday. Data from December was revised to show the deficit widening to $72.9 billion instead of $70.3 billion as previously estimated. Economists polled forecast the trade deficit shrinking to $66.6 billion in January. The report was delayed because of last year's government shutdown. Trade data have been volatile amid Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. The import duties which Trump pursued under a law meant for use in national emergencies were struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court. But Trump responded to the ruling by imposing a 10% global tariff, which he said would rise to 15%. Trump has defended the tariff as necessary to address trade imbalances and protect U.S. industries. So far, the manufacturing rebirth has not materialized, and 100,000 factory jobs have been lost since January 2025. Brazil's government on Thursday scrapped the PIS and confines federal taxes levied on diesel and imposed a temporary levy on oil exports in a bid to soften the impact of recent global oil price swings on local fuel prices. The export tax will be aimed at increasing domestic refining and securing internal supply, the government said in a statement. State-run oil firm Petrobras is the country's largest oil producer and posted record oil exports in the fourth quarter. And more than 2 decades after the 2002 International Court of Justice ruling on the Kakaaki Peninsula, concerns are emerging over Nigeria's maritime boundary management and offshore oil entitlement in the Cross River Corridor. A coalition of civil society organizations and maritime experts says recent findings from a verification mission suggest administrative decisions taken after the ruling may have created governance and sovereignty concerns affecting Nigeria's maritime waters.
The loss of the Kakaaki Peninsula remains a sore point for Nigeria. Since the 2002 ICJ ruling and the 2006 Green Tree Agreement, Cross River State has grappled with the loss of vital maritime and oil assets. But a coalition of 46 civil society groups is now raising fresh concerns following new findings on the matter. Meeting in Abuja, the Center for Credible Leadership and Citizen Awareness claims the handover went too far.
The Cross River Estuary was not extinguished nor nullified by the ICJ judgment. The estuary remains Nigeria's natural mouth of the sea and a gateway to Nigeria's internal waters, thereby providing Cross River State with direct littoral offshore access to the Atlantic Ocean.
It has succeeded in not only ceding Nigeria's territory to a neighboring country, but has also created very serious bad blood between two sister states here in Nigeria, Akwa Ibom and Cross River.
Gabriel argues that the court only ceded southern settlement, meaning the Cross River Estuary and Western Island should still be under Nigerian control.
Cross River Estuary and the Western Bakassi Peninsula Islands of Bay Spring 1 and 2, Abana and Kwa Island were not ceded under the ICJ judgment. Nigeria therefore continues to maintain maritime boundary continuity between Cross River Estuary and the Akwa River Estuary.
Legal expert Sam Amadi asks that historical error may have wrongly stripped Cross River of its oil wells and think it's something worthy of review.
Cross River was wrongly denied ownership of the oil wells, and something should be done as a matter of both justice, national security, and economic development of this country to revisit that decision and reverse the errors.
They are asking for a presidential review of the oil wells report and a full investigation into how transboundary revenue is being shared.
And that's Kakaaki Business. I am Olamide Ario.
Hello and welcome to Kakaaki Sports. I am Simbi Shima. We begin with basketball, where it says Nigeria's the Tigers suffered a 77-60 defeat to South Korea in their second game of the qualifying tournament for the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup, ending a long unbeaten run for the African champions. The loss marked the Tigers' first defeat since their quarterfinal loss to the United States at the 2024 Olympic Games, halting the momentum that the team had built over the past 2 years. The Nigerian side, led by coach Rena Wakama, had started the tournament strongly, crushing Colombia by 70-37 points in their opening game on Wednesday. Despite the loss to South Korea, it does not affect Nigeria's participation in the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup, as the team already secured qualification by winning the Women's AfroBasket title in late 2025. The team's involvement in the qualifying tournament is largely aimed at improving their world ranking and maintaining competitive form ahead of the global showpiece. Also through Germany, who qualified as host, while Belgium, the United States, and Australia secured their places after winning their different continental championships. The Tigers will look to bounce back when they face the Philippines in their next game on Saturday. The National Sports Commission has rewarded outstanding junior athletes with a total of 11 million naira as Nigeria intensified preparations for the 2026 Commonwealth Games and the 2028 Summer Olympics. The gesture is aimed at appreciating their achievement and motivating them to reach greater heights. NSC Chairman Shehu Diko and Director General Bukola Olopade reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to sustained funding and stronger partnership with private sector to boost sports development in the country.
Create a system where we can identify these athletes that are doing well for us in Nigeria, winning medals for Nigeria, so that we can go to their schools and honor them and give them the support they need to keep doing well, and then also to serve as motivation for other young athletes so that, look, if you do well, you always be recognized. All these athletes have won medals at the Africa School Games, at the Africa Youth Games in Angola, and now they are even qualified to the African Youth Olympics that's being hosted in Senegal, the Youth Olympics.
So what is new, what should be applauded,
is the effort of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the GCFR, to ensure that every top Nigerian athlete, every upcoming Nigerian athlete, anywhere in the country is reached, is looked after, and is thanked for what they do for this country.
Former Sport Minister Sunday Dare, who attended the event, commended the initiative, describing it as a major boost that will inspire young athletes to pursue excellence and continue making Nigeria proud internationally.
I think a lot of credit should also go to the chairman of the Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, and also the DG, Bukola Olakpade, who have continued with what we started. And I think in the nature of good governance, the world over, that's what you find. When you take over and you see very good policies, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I thank them for not reinventing the wheel. And when it comes to sports, the templates are pretty standard.
Any contractor coming to collect any job from the Sports Commission must contribute a percentage of their profit into the athlete grant and into looking after our school children. They are the first port of call of the private sector, are they not? And let the private sector contribute to what we are doing. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has created a conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive, for foreign investment to come in. It's important that we latch onto that, leverage on it, and get it going without having a stop.
Among the beneficiaries were taekwondo athletes Kwanume and Unikume, alongside athletics star Adeze Precious, who received 1 million naira each, while Andrew Miracle Yemi got 2 million naira. West African champion Miracle Izechuku and Rosemary Chigozie were also honored with 3 million naira each for their outstanding performances.
And I'm representing Nigeria out there and competing with my mates, and it's really given me like a good opportunity. Like I see myself being the Olympics championship in the next Olympics.
I'm representing my country.
Very happy for them remembering us and showing concern. It's encouraged me to do more, and I would never leave Nigeria. I will always represent Nigeria because they have helped me greatly, and this check is just a little token, and I know that there's more in the future.
To be Olympic gold medalist.
It was a good experience, and I was hoping next time to win more and more, to be on a higher table next time.
It makes me feel very proud of myself. Like I'm fulfilling some goals in life. Like, my name is unique, so I've already started doing unique things in life.
The NSC says the initiative supports the vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to create an enabling environment for sports development and ensure Nigerian athletes receive the support needed to succeed on global stage. And to some football update. The quarterfinals of the CAF Champions League begins this weekend as 8 of Africa's top clubs battle for a place in the semi-finals. Mamelodi Sundowns host Stade Milan in Victoria on Friday, while defending champions Pyramid FC travel to Morocco to face AS FAR. On Saturday, RS Berkane welcome Al Hilal in another exciting first leg encounter, while record 12-time winners Al Ahly will face Tunisian giant Esperance of Tunis on Sunday in one of the competition's biggest rivalries. The winner will move a step closer to the $6 million prize money announced by the Confederation of African Football for this season's champions. And disappointing results in the first leg of the round of 16 fixtures in the UEFA Champions League have dealt a big blow to the Premier League's hopes of securing an additional slot next season. A series of defeats and draws for English clubs has raised fresh concerns over England's position in the European coefficient rankings. Our correspondent Osaibovo Osifo says more in this report.
The two best performing nations across the Champions League, UEFA Europa League and the Conference League earn an additional Champions League place for the following season. The rankings are determined through coefficient system which calculate points earned by club from each country and divide them by the number of participating teams. However, English campaigns suffered a setback after Manchester City were beaten 3-0 by Real Madrid, while Chelsea fell to 5-2 to Paris Saint-Germain. Arsenal also settled for a 1-0 draw with Bayern Leverkusen, leaving plenty of work to be done in the return leg. Earlier defeat for Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool, along with a draw for Newcastle United, have further complicated the race. England still leads the coefficient standings with 22.513 points ahead of Spain and Germany, but the gap could narrow if results do not improve.
And President of the United States, Donald Trump, has warned Iran's football national team to stay away from the upcoming World Cup, saying it would be safer for them not to attend. Iran has already qualified for the tournament, which will be co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico this summer. Tensions have grown after conflict escalated between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. Trump made the comment in a post on social media saying, "The team is welcome, but it may not be appropriate for them to participate for their own safety." Before Trump's comment, Iran's sport minister had disclosed it is unlikely that the team will take part in the World Cup because of the ongoing conflict and the deaths of thousands of their citizens. And finally on Kakaaki Sports, organizers of the Bayelsa State Governors Cup, tagged the Prosperity Cup, have revealed that 2 teams from the State Correctional Center will participate in the 2026 edition of the tournament, which is currently underway. The Director General of the tournament, Onoakpe, made this known during an interview with AIT Sport. He emphasized that beyond the huge prize money, the competition has also played a significant role in reducing crime and other social vices across the state, while providing opportunities for young talent to showcase their abilities.
Now, there's something that should interest you. We are working out the final logistics, but the prisons, they have a team. And this is interesting. The prison boss was saying, no, our boys play good soccer. In fact, they've beat some teams that come there. We want a team. And so they put together a team, and guess the name of the team? The Freedom Strikers of Yenagoa. You know, and we have assigned a special field in their correctional center. Sorry, it's called Correctional Center. Assigned a special field in the Correctional Center for these Freedom Strikers to play. This gives us joy. Everybody wants to be part of this tournament. The indigenous, the non-indigenous, even those in the correctional centers, the police, and it's very, very exciting.
A total of 80 million naira.
Issues and attitude, political figures, the state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy, and our government seems to be incapable of protecting.
Scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go. Every part of this country is important.
The intrigue.
There can be one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection. I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe in godfatherism in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, AIT_live, and AIT Livestream 1 on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live. The issues as they break. The multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
There is a serious threat to democracy, and our government seems to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go. Every part of this country is important.
The intrigue.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection. I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe in godfatherism in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
Now, everyone has 60 seconds in every day to spare. So if you're ready, let's go! Wow, you did great. Well done! I hope you had a great workout. Anyway, what I need you to do is to follow us on Instagram at Alpha Fitness Studios and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Alpha Fitness Studios, for free workout videos, free dance videos, sales and promos, and make sure you join us at the gym, Alpha Fitness Studios in Lekki Phase 1 next time you're in Lagos. So until the next time, bye-bye.
Hello, great people of Nigeria. Welcome to the Leadership Clinic. Today, focus on waking up. Sleeping becomes interesting.
How do you feel when strangers touch you without your permission? Hello there. My name is Etienne Akwansong, your preferred etiquette coach. Today, I want to address the social issue of touching or being touched by people, especially strangers, without your permission or their permission. In our society, especially our African society, it has become a norm for people to touch others without their permission. This is an unacceptable social behavior. If you wish to call a person's attention, you can always say, hello, excuse me, without necessarily touching the person. Even if they are out of reach, you can hasten your pace to meet up with them, rather than stretch your hands to touch them. Even if you are admiring a person or something they are putting on and you wish to pay a compliment, you can say, hey, I like your hair, I like your dress. You can pay all these compliments without necessarily touching the person. If you really wish to touch the person, for example, feel the texture of the dress they are putting on, you may ask them, may I touch your fabric or touch your dress? And if they give you the approval, then you may go ahead to touch. Without getting the approval of a person, it is rude, uncouth, and unacceptable to touch a person without their permission. This includes children. This includes people's pets. If you must touch a child, you must seek the permission of the adult in whose company they are. Moving forward, endeavor to avoid touching people without their permission. Keep it classy always. Thank you.
People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or
Will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
The National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
So people put people in poverty deliberate misplacement of priorities and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
For the former president,
yes.
What I know is that he has not turned his membership card.
He has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the issues.
The system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT.
Hello and welcome back to Kakaaki, the African Voice. And it's already 7 a.m., so it's time for us to take a look at what the dailies are saying. And myself and, Rena will not be doing it alone. We have Emmanuel Azikia joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's great to have you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see that you're good.
Between you both.
Yeah, between these both. No, the three of us. Rena. And also Eziocha, who gave us some news that he's now with Disclosure News. So a good one as well. Congratulations to you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
You said that he has defected?
Yes.
I'm asking you for something.
He has a sign-on bonus. You know, like in football, he's a football man. So when a player moves to another club, they give him a sign-on bonus. So, yeah, so we'll share that later.
But I may add that I'm also joining you. I'm also condoling with him on the death of his mother-in-law in his house. Last week. So sorry, I'm publicly condoling with you. Thank you very much.
All right, let's see what's on the pages of newspapers this morning, beginning from Blueprint Politics. That's the lead. It says, Abaribe's fate hangs. Tambua, Ume, Kingibe, others join ADC. 12 reps defect. APC, ADC share spoils. PDP further depletes.
All right, now to the Daily Sun. We have drama in Senate as wave of defection continues. Tambuwal, Abaribe, Kingibe, 6 other senators cross to ADC.
And to the New Telegraph, same story. It says, drama in Senate as Abaribe, Ume, Tambuwal, 6 others defect to ADC. 12 reps dump PDP, Labour Party for APC, ADC. Tambuwal's defection didn't follow due process. That's Sokoto ADC talking there. The stories are on page 2, 3, 4, and 5.
The Daily Monitor is next and still leading with the political headline, and it reads, why we dumped our former parties, Tambuwal, Abaribe, others. Senate gives Abaribe till next sitting to reconsider his move. Take definite decision.
And Al Jazeera Friday says, rising defection fever. In one fell swoop, 9 senators join ADC, 12 reps dump PDP, LP, NNPP, YPP for APC and ADC.
All right, now to the leadership newspaper. We have APC tightens grip on National Assembly with 87 senators, 261 reps, as 6 opposition lawmakers defect. That's on page 4 of the leadership newspaper.
Still on party politics, Nigerian pilot says gale of defection hits National Assembly. That's on page 8 of its paper today. It says as 9 opposition senators, 11 reps defect to APC, ADC. Prominent among senators are Ireti Kingibe, Aminu Tambuwal, Eyinaya Abaribe, Victor Ume. That's some of the riders.
All right, now to the Authority newspaper. Reps in defection galore. LP, PDP lose massively.
And to this Nigeria, another story, thankfully, at this point. It says you can't run again. Court bars Ondo Governor Ayedatiwa. Judge cites Supreme Court ruling on 8-year tenure limit. Says completing Akere Dolu's term count in tenure calculation. Looks like the same story with Jonathan at the time. And then just down there, we have a Barry-based seat threatened as Senate issues ultimatum over defection.
All right, now to the Standard Times. We have Insecurity. Tinubu meets service chiefs, promises new equipment to tackle terrorist bandits.
And then from Standard Times, we cross over to Observer's Times now. It says Britain rolls out red carpet, tightens security for Tinubu. UK imposes airspace and traffic restrictions for Nigeria's president. That's what one of the writers says in anticipation of President Bola Tinubu in the UK.
All right, now to the Nigerian News Direct. We have era of Naira devaluation over. Cardoso declares as reserves hit $50 billion. That's it for the Nigerian News Direct.
All right, now we have the disclosure news. I'm happy to see this. One of our reviewers' paper, it says blame game as power generation dips to 3,940 megawatt. One of the writers says TCN, Genco's Disco's trade blame as banding system collapses.
All right, now to the daily assets. We have Meningitis, Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, Borno, 7 others, high-risk states, Plateau, Oyo, Cross River, Edo, Ekiti, Enugu, low vigilance areas.
And to the Business NG, most likely our last paper for this morning, it says 2 weeks to go. Keystone, Polaris, and 4 banks yet to clarify capital strategy. And the writer says Unity Bank Providus merger advances as court hearing resumes today.
All right, so those are the papers, a whole lot of them we've taken a look at this morning. And we'll start off with our first talking point from the Blueprint, Daily Sun, New Telegraph, Daily Monitor, Al Jazeera, Friday, Leadership, and the Nigerian pilots. Abari-based fate hangs. Tambuwal, Ume, Kingibe, others join ADC. Gale of defections so far. LP losing everybody representing them in the National Assembly, the PDP losing a whole lot, the APC having, I think, 31 governors now out of 36. I mean, so much drama when it comes to the defections.
Well, for me, it's ironic that the PDP, which was once the most dominant party in this country, is now reduced to 6 senators. Even more is the fact that that position as the leading opposition party has been taken over by the ADC. But there's something ironic, because I saw one of the papers writing that boost for opposition. I do not see this as any boost. It's just internal movement within the already established opposition. And it's essential for me, for the opposition, because the opposition in 2023 were at the commanding role in determining the fate of the polity, but they missed it because the political leaders were not able to synergize to be able to form forth a formidable opposition. Why do I say this? In the House of Representatives, you had the APC was a minority with 176 members. The combined opposition in the House was more than the APC. So they were in a position to elect a speaker or to determine who would be speaker. But it's so unfortunate that the political leaders in the opposition, I specifically mean Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, they didn't rally round together. They didn't rally round to be able to put forward an agenda in the legislature. And that's how the APC was able to produce a speaker for the House. You remember that Asiwaju Tinubu, as a leader of the opposition, was able to determine the Speaker of the House. He was able to determine the Speaker of the House. But the opposition this time, they were bereft of ideas and bereft of traction, which is so unfortunate. So what has happened is essentially the political opposition trying to rally around ahead of 2027, because you must have a platform to contest the next election. And that is what essentially they are doing. Because the PDP, as it were, was almost written off until this recent appeal court judgment that has now legalized the Wike-led faction. Not faction now, the Wike-led tendency. Because you won't call that a faction now, because that the court have recognized that tendency as the opposition, as the leadership of the PDP.
Okay. In those parties, let me come to Nze now, especially from the Labour aspect, where he talked about, the likes of Peter Obi, Atiku not really rallying around, to have a say and all of that, in the National Assembly. A lot of young Nigerians, especially those who were very important to the obedience movement in 2023, have been speaking from a point of disappointment that the people, the individuals, they voted in for, have defected. There was no considerations, for their opinion. There was not even a statement as to why, these defections, were happening as well.
As for defections, I think it is expected, because with barely 8 months to the next election, if you're a politician, you must make sure that you know your platform. But like the obedience have said, so many Nigerians would be disappointed with the Labour Party. Let's just leave a PDP out of this, because yes, PDP has been in the system. Labour Party was a political party that especially Nigerian youths embraced when Peter Obi joined it, and you can see the extent they went during the election. Over 30 National Assembly members. But as at counting today, I don't think they have any senator. I don't also think they have any House of Reps member. The African Democratic Congress, the coalition ADC, has surprisingly emerged as a leading opposition party. Because if they put their house in order now, I think the opposition leader, the minority leaders of the 2 chambers of the National Assembly will now go to ADC instead of PDP.
Okay, let's look at the fate of Abaribe, for example. So the Senate yesterday, in fact, one of the toppest leading conversations about the depletion of opposition political parties and then the defection is that of Abaribe. And the Senate is threatening that he would lose his seat because there are no known crises in his party, APUGA, as our brothers in Chuksi's people, your people as well, as you call it, APUGA, no known crisis. And they said that they understand that the fellows coming from the PDP, yes, it's loud that the PDP is fighting, but in the case of Abaribe, and then he's claiming that he's been expelled from the party since September last year, 2025, and he's been asked to provide the letter in a week, or he loses his seat, or maybe just reconsider his decision. What they are saying is there needs to be, the Constitution does not provide for when there are no fights in your party, you cannot defect. And they were citing Section 68, 1B and G.
You see, for Senator Nyine Abaribe, APGA may not have issue at the center, but if the National Assembly has followed the trend of events, what has been happening in Abia State chapter of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, they will agree with Abaribe that there is crisis in that state. For example, about August, September last year, Abaribe was suspended by the Abia State chapter of APGA for alleged anti-party activity. The party alleged that Abaribe has been romancing with ADC. He was suspended. So if a chapter of a political party is in crisis, the party is in crisis. Even as people are defecting from PDP, from what, like Emma said, from what the court has ruled, can you say PDP is in crisis?
No, we'll say now they have their house in order.
The house should be an acting a caretaker committee has been recognized by a higher court and a lower court and a higher court. So you can't say they are in crisis. I don't think there should be issues about Abaribe's defection, because is Habga in crisis in Abia State? The answer is yes. Okay. You also know recently one of the party's representatives at the House of Representatives also resigned. Also resigned. Ikweche, Honorable Ikweche also resigned because there is crisis in Abia. Abga. So if there is crisis has been recognized, reported, Abaribe has the right to leave the party, just as others have left the various parties to other political parties.
Yes, in all of this, as you come in all of this, there is the ADC being against ADC in what level? At a national level, in the case of Senator Ireti Kingibe. So she's been suspended from her ward level, say she doesn't attend meetings, she's owing dues, she doesn't respect party authority and leadership and all that. But the national leadership of it is saying that we are not aware of this suspension.
Before you even answer that, yesterday on the papers I saw in Cross River and Oyo as well, there's a clash in the ADC as well.
You see, it is in the interest of the ruling party to continue to instigate crisis as it were in the opposition. Now, coming to the issue of Ireti Kingibe, the party has firmly ruled, based on its constitution, that a ward cannot suspend or sanction a serving senator. Okay. So I think that is apparently clear, because like my people, we reported it that she was suspended. But the party came out the following day, that's Bolaji Abdullahi, and renounced that action by the FCT ward. So whatever it is in the interest of the ruling party to target the most formidable antagonist. And in this case, there is no doubt that Senator Eyinaya Abaribe has been among, or perhaps arguably, the leading light of the opposition in the Nigerian Senate. He's been the voice of the opposition. So if this is an opportunity to bring him down, I think he's being targeted, because what pertains to the goose should pertain to the gander. Now, you're looking at it, Abga has been in crisis. I'm surprised that Abaribe did not bring up the issues of his the crisis in his local chapter. Even at the national leadership, they've been in crisis, though the courts have ruled, but there are still tendencies within that party. He has been suspended as a member. So the issue, I think it is it's about trying to rubbish the person you believe is your antagonist. And in that case, Abaribe is about one of the most credible leaders of the opposition. And he might likely become the minority leader of the national assembly.
Yeah, I read so this
these are
morning.
some of the things that...
now, still talking about gale of defection, we also have, you mentioned Abaribe being vocal in the opposition. Another person who was in his team, or has been in his team, is the Serike Dixon, former governor of Bayelsa State. He's really speaking up as well when it concerns opposition. But he's also dumped his party, and he's now the founder, national leader of his own party, NDC.
Yeah, that is what, like Emma said, you see, when you are targeting a particular individual because of maybe how outspoken, how critical he has been, Abaribe is a veteran as far as the National Assembly is concerned. You know, he was a one-time deputy governor of Abia State. When he lost that seat, he moved straight to the Senate. He was the first deputy governor under the former governor, Ojus Okalo. He is also in the Senate. So, like you said, Serike Dixon just moved from his party. Though they can tell you that PDP is in crisis. But I don't believe that as at this moment, even as the PDP we are saying is in crisis, there have been some moves to reconcile the party. Some big shots are making moves to see how they can find a leaning as far as ahead of 2027. Because a party that must contest election in 2027 must be united to avoid, bringing up candidates that the court may reject after the election.
Okay. All right. Moving away from, the political issues there. Now to our next, talking points. Blame game as power generation dips to 3,940 megawatts. That's from your paper disclosure. First and foremost, I don't think there's been any statement, from the Minister of Power on this, issue of electricity across the nation. Some people go as far as 5 days, no power supply. Here in the FCT, I don't think I've even seen power supply this poor in the FCT in a long time. But definitely, we still had statement that he's not to blame. The decay of facilities, infrastructure, and all of that is actually, to be blamed.
I think the Minister of Power has moved on. I think for now, yes.
He's moved on.
He has moved on.
The government house
for now, he's focused on how he can get APC ticket to contest the Oyo State governorship election. We know we have run that for that office 3 times under different parties. When he loses the ticket in APC, he will go to another party. And I think he has made up his mind because he has not hidden it. So, and that is the problem, the challenge the sector has. Because this power sector in Nigeria is the sick man of Nigeria. In those days, in advanced level history, they will say Turkey is the sick man of Europe. The power sector is the sick man of Nigeria because this is one sector that has continued to fail this country. It has continued to fail this country. Just last year, Nigerians woke up and they saw themselves being banded, band A, band B, band C. Who is talking about the bands now?
Yeah, some might say that's why
even
nobody has put pressure on the minister because he gave the president that band A, band C, easily. Like there was no real trouble, on that.
But there is trouble now. Can you classify your own band now? When even those who were alleged to, who were grouped in band A before, cannot even get the power for at least 5 hours. And this has been an issue of Gencos blaming Discos. The Gencos will tell you that they generate enough, but the Discos don't distribute. They reject some of the power they generated. And they also, the TCN, who is supposed to be the supervisory, also, giving blames here and there. But who at the end, the people that have been affected, the end users, because you pay for what you don't see. So the power sector should be overhauled. And I think the minister is not fit to man that sector. Because since he came in, since the appointment of Adelabu, that sector has not seen the light of anything. It's from one grid collapse to a group being, Nigerians being banded, to even now that the banding has collapsed, energy has fallen. It is a very sorry sight. The power sector in Nigeria is a sorry sight.
Well, my take is that, first of all, my personal testimony is that I've never seen the power crisis in Nigeria this low, this terrible as it has been since I was born. I'm confessing. It's been so terrible. Sometimes you don't get light for a whole day. In Abuja, you don't get light for a whole day.
I mean, the Aso Rock has gone solar.
Solar. You can imagine
I'm
that.
using even the solar you are using
has moved on.
Even the solar you are using is now being stressed. It's being stressed. That's the problem. So, unfortunately, as he said, the issue has to do with governance issue, primarily, because the person that we have put there to govern the system has put his eyes towards another trajectory, and that is politics, firmly fixed on the Oyo State governorship election.
Is it
and look at it, when you are talking about blame game, yes, there are issues that came along. Outstanding the liquidity crisis, there's the liquidity crisis, the debt crisis, the debt issue, because the Gencos, presently, I think they are being owed almost 6.6 trillion naira. And these debts continue to mount. You have issues with the infrastructure. You have the grid that cannot take even more than 4,000 or 5,000 megawatts. And mark you, I remember almost 20 years ago, or more than 20 years ago, in year 2000, when Leah Imoke was chairman of the of NEPA, Nigeria celebrated 4,000 megawatts. Where they covered that sector at that time. But why is it that as it is now, even though we are saying we have an installed capacity of almost 15,000, but we cannot push it out? Why has the government not been able to address this issue? It's so unfortunate because, mark you, the president came to power with a promise that if I cannot fix power, don't vote me again. And unfortunately, unlike what he has done to you must give kudos to the administration in terms of the stability of the financial sector. But you cannot see the same in the power sector, which is a very, very important unit or facilitator to the national economy. Because the amount of money people are wasting on alternative sources of energy, it's not good.
Okay, let's bring in some of our viewers on YouTube. We are live at Africa Independent Television. If you also do Africa Independent TV, you would find us. Michael Efedi says, Tinubu has been meeting with service chiefs and nothing has been improved. Omo Ariyo says, the time limit affecting the Ondo State governor doesn't affect Goodluck Ebele Jonathan because the law was not in existence when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan served as president. Well, I meant that when he had to complete the term of his principal who died in office. This Victor Taimba says, why the APC is proudly capturing the opposition governors, senators and House of Reps members as their yardstick to campaign. Power generation is now 2,900 megawatt, is $1. So the dollar is equal to 1,500 naira, and insecurity is worse. Felix Ibrahim says, this is interesting. When did the National Assembly wake up from their slumber to check whether the party is in crisis? Are they trying to, in any way of vendetta, leave Abaribe alone? And somebody is asking me, how about Rena? You know they fast me.
Well, it's not just
because
Rena.
It got me
it's not just Rena. Well,
I'm not fasting, no, sorry.
This comment here is very interesting. It says, imagine I want to get a solar fan. It's now 380,000 because of PHCN. And another man says, since I was born, that's Mike. He says, since I was born till now, I haven't seen steady electricity in Nigeria. I'm now a man with wife and children. Let us go solar because the president has gone solar.
All right. Okay, from that, we'd like to move to
our next conversation.
Health story, indeed. From Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, Borno, 7 others high-risk states. When it comes to meningitis, that's how Daily Assets takes us this morning. Can we look at health? I mean, we have Lassa fever, leading chart right now. And here we are again with meningitis. What's this endemic and epidemic, or how do you call it in health?
I think you chose the right word.
Right.
You see, when you talk about these listed states and these diseases, I ask myself, does it mean the administrators, their leaders, don't do anything? Because these states have always been in the mention every year, when it comes to these diseases. But nothing is done to make sure that these things are, reduced at least. You will see them bringing out big amount of money to wear their people. When you don't look at the health of those people you are doing mass wedding for, you will see them, yes, like this is fasting period, they will bring out money to feed the people, but you will not pay attention to their health. Food alone, yes, food is very good, but food alone cannot give somebody life. You can eat, and if you are not healthy, food cannot make you, give you life. I think that the governors of these states have failed their people. They have failed their people because they don't care about how to, give them good, maintain the society, give them good life. It's not only about, sponsoring group marriage and other things like that. Some of these diseases are not supposed to be had in a country like Nigeria. You can imagine meningitis. You can imagine all these things. A clean environment can settle this. But when you allow, even if you go to the capital city of some of these states, you will ask yourself how filthy, how unorganized they are. These are some of the things that lead to this. But their governors, their administrators don't care. All they know is come to Abuja, let FAC share the money, they run back. The next month, they come, and people will continue to face this type of sorry situation.
And it seems like some people are not even, educated about the symptoms because of the spread. Even with Lassa fever, I was seeing figures from the NCDC that I think 15 health workers as well have been affected so far. So how do we actually combat these, issues?
I think it essentially has to do with health education, which is because you cannot. Meningitis is like a seasonal epidemic. It happens especially during the heat season, which you are in now, and especially in the northern region. So how do you educate? How do you check it? It is by health education. The issues as concerning, good ventilation. You will not see somebody in a government house, as my colleague is saying, having meningitis, because everywhere he has 24-hour power supply, courtesy of the taxpayer. Everywhere is AC, you understand? So it's not prone to that. Things that cause meningitis, heat and overcrowding. When you see people being cramped together, as it is happening now, in the IDP camps, people are being, insecurity is worsening it. So when people are cramped together, they are become more liable to meningitis. So what the administration should do, especially in the northern states, is to improve health education. And not just that, to make the place more livable. Because if the place is more livable, if the place is more, if the factors that promote meningitis are addressed, if you have good light supply, if you have good electricity, and you can afford air conditioner, meningitis will not be a concern as it were.
Well, that's a lot of money that will be going
But we have the money. The money is there. These governors are getting the money. What are they using it for?
But we don't have the money.
Ask our lawmakers.
And we can't move into their homes.
Ask our lawmakers. They like to live as if they are abroad. They import cars. A legislator with 160 million naira for a car for an individual, and they will tell you that it is because the roads are bad. And this is what...
And like Ima said, these diseases are seasonal, like he said. Yeah. But when these things are expected. Yeah. It's just like we are now. Nobody's talking about flood now.
Right.
The government will not take time to avoid it. Yeah. Because very soon we'll enter the flood season.
And we'll come here
and be discussing flood. Okay. But now is the time to get it right. They will not do it.
All right, looks like a good place to leave it. We'd like to thank you so much. But Wisdom Robinson is saying, assuming Eyinaya Abaribe wanted to defect to APC, would they oppose his defection? A question right there. But we've run out of time completely. Yeah, we've run out of time and we have to go.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Azikia, for joining us this morning. And also to Ezelcha Nze as well. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, still Kakaaki, the Africa Voice. We'll go on a short break and we'll get into our first conversation for today. Yes, our first interview on Lassa fever right after this break. Do stay with us.
Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. AIT_live and AIT Livestream 1 on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
I think that is the law. National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
Some people put people in poverty deliberately, deliberate misplacement of priorities, and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of
For
this
the former president,
yes.
what I know is that he has not turned his membership card. He has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal with.
There's no shying away from the
The
issues.
system is held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT.
The issues as they break. The multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
It's a serious threat to democracy.
And our government seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is important.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection. I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe it was for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for being there and welcome back to the program. We're starting our first conversation right away, and it's on Lassa fever in Nigeria. To do that, we have Professor Adamu Akiala, who's joined us in the studio to look at this, because according to the NCDC, 84% of all confirmed Lassa fever cases were reported from only 5 states across Bauchi, Ondo, Taraba, Edo, and Benue states. And yeah, we're not just losing people, we're also losing more and more health workers. And we want to look at why it looks like lessons are not being learned, even though this has become a yearly occurrence. Welcome to the program, Professor.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
So why do we have Lassa fever, occurring annually? Between 2018 and 2026, according to reports, there have been over 30,000 suspected cases, 4,000 confirmed cases, and over 800 deaths. And seems like we've not learned any lessons from this.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. Based on the demographics that we have, which you have read over the period of 7 years, we have not learned lessons because our surveillance system is passive, not active, meaning that our ability to collate, be able to analyze health data from rural, transmit them down to subnational and to national has not been active. We have not been active in case searching, so we have not been proactive. We are only reactive. Some of the guests that you hosted this morning spoke about will be envisaging cholera in a few months by the start of the rainy season, so we have to wait until there is outbreak of cholera instead of us to actually put out martial out plans to mitigate, to curtail this outbreak. So I think, by and large, we have not learned our lessons because we have a very weak surveillance system. 2, We have not done a lot of R&D. We have not done a lot of research to be able to understand the dynamics, the transmission dynamics, the social component of Lassa fever. We have not done enough research in terms of vaccine development. We have not done enough of research in terms of diagnostic tools. Those are the kind of national conversations that we need to bring to bear. So over time, you could imagine Lassa was discovered in 1969 in a village in Maiduguri called Lassa. But virtually all the diagnostic tools, all the vaccines that have been designed are outside this country. So I think that by and large, we have a very weak surveillance system. We have our level of literacy, health education is still very low. We have not done much in terms of research and development.
All right, so this has lasted because I was just going to introduce when it was first found. 1969,
yep.
And this is 2026.
Yep.
That's 57 years ago.
Absolutely.
The cases that we've reported, as he mentioned, between 2018 and 2026, yearly outbreak, 30,000 suspected cases, 4,000 confirmed cases, over 800 deaths and all that. It's 57 years, not enough for us to come out with solutions, with strategies to solve this problem, because I'm not sure anyone enjoys Lassa fever and its effect.
So I agree with you totally. You know, virtually everything that is around Lassa is donor dependent. We depend on donors for virtually supplies of kits for testing. We depend on donors for virtually all the treatment regimen. We also depend on donor on response, rapid response for outbreak of cases. So some of the guests that you hosted this morning were asking some governors have money and they have not done enough. And totally I agree with them. So we have not prioritized leadership around healthcare systems. And we have not also learned lessons from COVID. I thought maybe COVID would have actually bring us up to a level that we can be able to handle a lot of pandemics, epidemics, and endemic diseases.
So it looks like we don't even learn lessons.
Yeah, we have not learned lessons. If we are able to handle just non-pharmaceutical safety measures of cleaning of our hands and then washing of our hands, we handle Lassa fever, because those are diseases that non-pharmaceutical. But you remember of our banks, our houses, our two or three labs that can be able to diagnose class 3 pathogens which fever belongs to.
In the entire country?
Yeah, in the entire country, before COVID. Now, after COVID, we got about 70 labs that can diagnose. Post-COVID, we only had 10. So we did not have plans for post-COVID to repurpose those labs to also diagnose Lassa fever. So it bounds back to around leadership, around health system strengthening, around the health eco space. Let me share with you very, very sad reality that certain diseases that would have been taken care of once we handle some socio-demographic indices like provision of clean water, sanitation and hygiene. We take care of those diseases like cholera, like even Lassa fever. Most state capitals don't have potable running water. Most state capitals don't have basic waste management system framework. Most states government don't even have state public labs where most of these diseases can be diagnosed. So we take samples and then return them back to Abuja, take 2-3 days for the samples to be analyzed and then for feedbacks to be gotten. So we have a whole lot for 1969 to over 2026. We're having conversations, counting numbers of people that have died. We have not developed vaccines. We have not developed testing kits. No, it is not acceptable anywhere in any part of the world. And I think that conversation, we should have a national conversation around that.
Another key thing that troubles me, and I'm sure will be troubling to Rena and yourself, is what has happened with, health workers when these diseases, come yearly, annually. recently for Lassa fever, 15, health workers affected. Why do we keep having, health workers being affected? Is it that there's no proper, materials needed to protect themselves?
Yep. Yep. So I think basically there are three factors. One, there are no PPEs. It's just like normal clinics where you have your gown, you have your face shield, you have your personal protective equipment that you put on. Not every health worker adhere to those IPC, we call them infection prevention control protocols. So I think also there is a knowledge gap within the health workers cycle. So we have issues of non-availability of personal protective equipment. We also have knowledge gap. And then also inability to actually pin down active cases. So we need to understand actually protocols. So there's no end to public education, there is no end to training, there is no also end to learning. And I think that within our public health space, we need to encourage more health education, more learning within the health workers, professional health workers space. It is quite alarming that you lose 15 health workers within 2 months. It's not acceptable anywhere in the world because we're not also looking at the economy of building that kind of health force. We're not looking at the health economics indices. We're not doing economic evaluation of mortality rate of a health worker. We're not also doing economic evaluation of most of the indices around outbreaks. So we have not done much around this. And I hope that this kind of conversation can be cascaded to higher platforms so that we can have a national discourse.
Right. So we're talking about health workers losing their lives while caring for people. We know that in Nigeria right now, against the recommendation of WHO, World Health Organization, that suggests that 1 doctor to 600 patients. In Nigeria, we already have 1 doctor to over 9,000 patients. I mean, caused by brain drain, of course, and all that they've mentioned. So for those people, I think that we should even bring the conversation down to people who are listening right now. We've heard that cover your food properly. Don't allow rats to run over your house and all of those things. Pee and feces from rats could be responsible for this. Could you, speak to us really, the causes of Lassa fever so that we can know and be preventive instead of being reactive?
Okay, so basically, Lassa fever is a viral hemorrhagic disease. Viral means that viruses are the causative agent for the disease. Basically, it domiciled in rats, mastomys rats, that are reservoir for these viruses. So in the rats, the virus does not cause any disease in the rat. But once food products or food utensils are being contaminated with either urine or fecal materials of those rats, they contaminate either food product or food utensils. And then when human beings make use of those food or food utensils, the chances of transmission is very high. So it is transmitted from contaminated food or contaminated food utensils to humans. We'll also have human-to-human transmission. So in human-to-human transmission is when an infected individual discharge nasal, through sneezing, through coughing, through talking, you release those viruses, so you can infect other places. So it is seen more in hospital setting, and that's why in public health we call it a nosocomial infection. Noso means hospital and comia means to acquire. Okay. So you acquire those diseases in hospital setting. You also acquire the diseases in the community. So by and large, it is a zoonotic disease, meaning it is of animal origin. Animal can now transmit it through food products or food utensils. They come into encounter with humans. Humans can transmit from human to human. And then you also have what is called a transplant center transmission. A mother that is pregnant can also transmit it to her baby. So that is it about the transmission dynamics. Now, if you look at the demographics of the transmission, you find out that when you look at the residency demographics, the disease tends to occur more in rural communities, in communities where they have contact with these reservoirs, and where there is low health education, where there is low sanitary framework, where people even use this rat as source of meal, as source of protein. When you come to states like around Benue, where they use this rat as source of protein. And so the level of education, health education, is very low. So the transmission dynamics is very high. So if you check the demographics, more of these cases are coming from rural communities. They're also coming from rural communities because we have a fractured healthcare system that is not well strengthened. So our primary healthcare system is so weak. You find out that, like in my village, my primary healthcare center is being governed, is being inhabited by goats. No human being stays there, in all honesty. So you find out that we have a very weak. So those are the points of contact, first point of contact of cases, and then very few individuals. So you also have healthcare workers at community level that are not aware of the infection prevention control. They are not also aware about pinning down of these active cases. So there's a huge knowledge gap. And so the duration period for Lassa fever is from 2 to 21 days. People that are immunocompetent means that they have strong immune system, present no signs and symptoms, but they harbor the virus and they can transmit it. But people that are immunocompromised, meaning that they have weak immune system, they can transmit the disease to people, to susceptible individuals that are also having weak. Some of the preventive measures, we have discussed it much more earlier, is that you employ the non-pharmaceutical measures. You first of all, you report and the dynamics is that the signs and symptoms look similar to that of malaria. So you'll be treating malaria, fever, cough, and high in temperature and all what have you, thinking you are treating malaria, but in all honesty, you are treating Lassa fever. And so you will treat, there will be no response. You will treat, there will be no response. So I think, one of the preventive measures is to employ the non-pharmaceutical measures of keeping our environment clean, washing of our hands regularly, and also report cases to nearby healthcare centers where attention should be channeled.
All right, now when we look at the reports, covering the first 8 weeks of 2026, 99 people died, which we mentioned earlier, 404 confirmed cases and almost 2,000 cases. But last year as well, this same period, the number of deaths was just, marginally higher. Do we read any meaning, from those figures? Is it that people are more resistant to it, or we just have an reporting of this issue?
Yeah, so I think we have not studied well. So that's why I made mention of research. We have not done more in terms of understanding the dynamics of the seasonality variation. Actually, the current trend now in public health is that you understand climate change and health. We are talking about meningitis now, rise in temperature and all what have you. It also affects the reservoir dynamic density. So we have not done well around understanding the entomology or understanding the rodent density around those. And for peculiarity's sake, these outbreaks occur in states that are quite unique. Over the last 5 to 10 years, you hear of Edo State, you hear of Nasara, you hear of Benue, you hear of Ondo, you hear of Taraba, you hear of Plateau. This across these belts. So we have not done well in terms of understanding. I made mention of that our surveillance system is not active, so it is passive. It is passive. So the issue of underreporting is quite clear, that we underreport cases. So for example now, we are now having high cases in Ondo State, which borders Osun, and with mobility of people, Osun is not reporting, but Ondo is reporting. High number of suspected cases, high number of confirmed cases, high number of case fatality, mortality. So people have died a lot. We have not also done much about mortality epidemiology. Mortality epidemiology is you look at how many people have died, what is responsible for their deaths, can we mitigate it? And so let me give you an instance. I was privileged to be in India last year, and then I entered into a museum in New Delhi. The museum houses a COVID-19 museum. Virtually everybody that died as a result of COVID-19, they were not buried. They were kept there. Research is ongoing on drug discovery, on a lot of things around COVID. just to mitigate future pandemic that will come. So we look at pandemic preparedness and all what have you. So we have not done much. And I blame a lot of us from the academia, but you also find out that there are issues of funding gap. So we need to do a lot. And I think that I'm calling on the government to set up a consortium for Lassa fever to look at issues around vaccine development, around diagnostic panels development. What stops the president from coming up with a national talent hunt and say, okay, I have 100 million naira to see who among the scientists can be able to develop a prototype of a design for a vaccine indigenously. Just go and sleep and wake up. Within 24 hours to 48 hours, you get vaccines, design prototypes.
Fair from Nigeria.
In Nigeria, we have the human resources. So we need to be deliberate about looking around human resource. We need to harness our human resource locally. We need to also do welcome home. I have a lot of friends in AstraZeneca, Oxford University, Serum Institute in India, in Sanofi. A lot of them are Nigerians doing well in vaccine development. What stopped the country from welcoming them back home? Welcome them back home. We have that huge. I do not also believe on the concept of brain drain. We can also come up with programs like brain gain. The world is a global village now. It's a digital, you set up a digital platform. You have a lot of Nigerians overseas that can be able to interact with pathologists within the country to be able to handle most of these cases. Issues of telemedicine and digital public health. So we have a lot that we have not harnessed in an era of AI, in an era where we need to understand most of these digital platforms.
I like that we've gotten to the part that we talk about solutions and call to action, because look at it, this year compared to last year, we've already had worse cases, even though the whole of last year was 12 months and 2026 is just 3 months, but we already have more cases, which means that this is worsening. So of the 1,989 cases that we've had from 67 local government areas of Nigeria in 18 states, 5 of these states are owning 84% of these figures across Bauchi, Ondo, Taraba, Edo, and Benue states, which means that it's prevalent there. You've spoken about what the federal government can do. So in these states, to make sure that the lives of their people are preserved, what should be the call to action at the sub-national level?
Leadership and coordinations, governance. Okay. So we must not count figures. There is what is called data governance in public health. These figures, epidemiological data that you rolled out, they are data. I find it very difficult to comprehend whether governors of these states are having interface with their commissioners of health and also partners within their states. The resources are quite huge in those states. But let me also pick you up on to understand the dynamics of leadership, coordination, and governance in public health. When you go to Taraba State, how many treatment centers do we have? How many public health labs do we have? Do they have capacity to actually see these cases, get samples from these cases, run tests on these cases, confirm these cases within 24 hours? No. They send these samples to Abuja, maybe to a reference lab, or Irua in Edo State.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we need to build a health system that is resilient, a health system that is proactive, not reactive, a health system that will just go after these pathogens. These pathogens are evolving, and that's the concept of emerging and re-emerging diseases. You see these pathogens today, it changes tomorrow. We started the clinical trials for the Lassa fever vaccine in Nigeria, but it was called off in 2025. This is because we did not actually understand the dynamics of the clinical trials. We did not also understand the dynamics of understanding the adverse effect that comes with the clinical trials. So if I asked you, have we done any vaccine study on the COVID-19 vaccine? No. When the vaccine came, did we have a baseline for the jab before we took? No. Did we actually check whether our body elicited a lot of immune responses as a result of the vaccines that we took? No. No studies. I woke up this morning trying to check lexicon to find out which studies have been done. I've not seen any. So it is, but we just did a copy and paste approach. The United States is giving first jab, we'll give first jab. Second jab, we'll give second jab. Third jab, we'll get third jab. booster dose. We got the first booster dose. We got the second booster dose. But there are no literatures to support that our immune system can actually respond to most of these jabs. And it cut across all vaccines. So it is a call to action that we need deliberate investment. And I am a proponent of looking inward. I'm a proponent of looking at most of our guys around that are doing well to actually invest in health. Seeing conversation to how Dangote one day will invest in health and produce Dangote vaccine.
We look forward to that.
Will produce Tony Elomelu vaccine.
And Professor Akiala as well. Thank you so much, Professor Adamu Akiala. Thank you. Professor has been talking to us on Lassa fever in Nigeria and what we need to do as a country, a state, a people to make sure that this does not escalate. Professor is of Infectious Disease Epidemiology and Director at the Global Health and Infectious Disease Control at Nazareth State University, CAF. Thank you, and do have a nice day.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, it's Kakaaki, the African Voice. We'll go on a short break, and we'll return with Kakaaki Socials. Do stay with us.
The issues as they break, the multitude, the political figures, the state and non-state actors.
There is a serious threat to democracy.
And our government seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is important.
The intrigue.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe we go for that reason in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and Power, we feature people who shape the events and define the issues.
A lot of the agencies are still struggling with implementation of freedom of information.
The government should come. We need Nigeria to work.
We examine the interplay and interaction of politics with power and their impact on policies and the people.
It's about getting the system to deliver the kind of electoral outcome that people will be happy with.
People, Politics, and Power with Imoni Amarere.
Will low-performing agencies be held to account? Or will the numbers fade after the headlines?
At 1 p.m. every Monday and Friday on AIT.
Good morning and welcome to Kakaaki Social. This is the segment where we bring you the stories, the comments, and the conversations trending in the space of social media. My name is Chidera Izudoye. Welcome. Now we begin with our first story where our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed his commitment to democratic principles, stating that he is willing and subjecting himself to the rule of law. Now speaking on the essence of democracy, Tinubu noted that the political process can be enjoyable, but only when the outcomes are favorable. He remarked and he said, I submitted myself to the principle of law. The democratic game is sweet only when you are winning. The president's comment highlights the competitive nature of democratic politics while emphasizing the importance of respecting legal and institutional processes. Let's take a look at this video and then to our reactions.
Electoral Act, I have no choice. I don't want to throw the country into turmoil of argument of nothing. There is an overwhelming majority by the National Assembly that passed the law. If I have serious question or reservation about it, I will have raised it, but I have not. I submitted myself to the principle of rule of law, democracy. I signed. I signed. The rest is history. We meet at the polls. The game is sweet. Only when you are winning. Oh, it's all right. We must accommodate one another. We must help one another.
What netizens are saying, the game is sweet. Now, Mr. Andrew says he has said it already. 2027 is already secured. We could not just go buy bags of Gary, keep for house, because struggles continue. And we have Jubita, who says he has a very good vocal, lingua, grammatical English. Okay. And Gaga Frank is saying the game is sweet only when you are winning. And Kennedy Harrison is saying, Wahala no they ready to leave that chair. Oh, Wahala, they ready to leave that chair at all. Peter Obi has to step up his game well. And we have another Rex who says, the line really says it all. Everyone loves the rule of law when the scoreboard favors them. The real test is whether the principles still stand strong when the tide turns. Democracy isn't just a victory lap. It is consistency. Back to the reaction again. The previous reaction. It is consistency even when it is inconvenient. Okay, let's continue. Charles III has hosted a reception with members of Nigerian diaspora in the United Kingdom ahead of the planned state visit of Nigeria's President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, this gathering brought together Nigerians living in the UK to celebrate cultural ties and strengthen relationships between both countries. The reception also served as part of preparation for the President's upcoming state visit aimed at deepening diplomatic and economic cooperation between Nigeria and the United Kingdom. So let's see what netizens are saying about all of this visit. Okay, now going on to X, Olu is saying, it's wonderful to see culture bring people together. Moments like this show the strength of Nigerian diaspora and the power of music, food, and community to build bridges. Nothing like jollof rice and Afrobeats to make a night memorable. Agreed. And Kaka says, a visit that may not be in the interest of the citizenry. Britain has not really played a fatherly role in getting Nigeria to be stable and people-oriented economy. It is all about personal interest. And we have another user, Olori Olution, says, can the king kindly grant me just one request? He should help me leave Nigeria and relocate to the UK. Nigeria is hell for its citizens right now. Tough and hard to leave for the common man. And Ola replied him and says, leave Nigeria for whom? Isn't it your brother that is in power? A very legit question. Okay, let's continue. And then we have another story where the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, has congratulated the former governor of Bayelsa State and senator representing Bayelsa West, Seriki Dixon. Now, this is not for only dumping the People's Democratic Party, PDP, but for going ahead and then to find and register a new political party, the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC. Dixon said the NDC is a party where he founded and now leads as its national leader. In his defection letter of notice read on the floor of the Senate, his decision is prompted by the prevailing and intractable leadership crises and divisions that have plagued the PDP for several years, despite several attempts at amicable resolution.
To have the distinguished Senator Dixon says, and I quote, I have few days ago announced my resignation from the PDP and forwarded my resignation to the appropriate quarters, and the letters were duly acknowledged. Now, I write to bring to your attention and to the attention of the entire Senate of my decision to join the Nigeria Democratic Congress, a party of which I am the founder and national leader. Founder and national leader. So it is now my honor for the Senate to have the record reflected as the first senator in Nigeria to represent a constituency and at the same time to found a party which is now known as the Nigeria Democratic Congress in order to deepen multi-party democracy in Nigeria. Congratulations. Congratulations. You are the first senator indeed to take this action, and we are very proud of members of the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Well, a huge congratulations to Zariki Dixon, but let's see what netizens are saying about all of this. NDC, our new political party. Let us see. Okay, we have reactions following this after the video. Okay, let's continue. Well, we all know Ella, the content creator that has been trending after making video of unavailability of BRT buses for commuters, and due to the video that went viral all through the week, the bus rapid transit system have begun to receive attention from authorities. Now, Ella revealed that after speaking up about transportation challenges, she was surprised to see buses lined up along the lane she uses every morning. Now, let's see this video.
Yesterday was a whole lot. I received a lot of threats from here and there. It started from when the woman harassed me, you know, the man, everybody. People texted me that they want to gang up and beat me up. A lot of threats. And I'm not joking. My friends, my mom, they told me that today you must not use BRT. It was an order that I could not disobey. And I really want to say a big thank you to Mr. K.
Yo, Ella, what's up? Our champion. Nice one. Thank you so much for standing your ground.
He created a GoFundMe for my Uber. Like, I never expected any of that. I never expected any of those kind messages, love and support from you Nigerians. I am so grateful. And yesterday, I got a call from the Commissioner for Information.
There's no need for riding together, sir.
No, if they are against you and they are trying to harass you, maybe they think they are defending the government. Now, when they see the government beside you, we know that you have not done anything wrong.
Told me that buses would be provided. Oh my God, I did not speak up for nothing. I stood my ground. Everything started because the suffering was too much. Me personally, I'm a videographer and content creator. When I get to the office, I will still stand. Really hope they keep to the fact that they will provide buses. Because if they don't, I will make more videos. And if it's about blowing out people's faces, there is no problem. I'll blow it out. As far as I'm passing out my message, as far as my voice is going to be heard, I am going to continue. So don't think I've given up. I have not. Once again, our voice.
Well, we all know this just has been trending over the week. And you know what I said yesterday? When you see something, you say something. Now, let's see what BB Niger Sweet Boy says. Where did they hide those buses before? So someone had to make noise about the inconvenience before they could do the right thing. And we have another very gentle guy says, to her now, she has done great things until this same stubborn habit ruins her relationship. Hello? Okay. Let's continue. We have Abiola says, good news, your voice was heard. That is a sign of a listening government and they are ready to serve the people. But why is your voice not loud and clear like this in your village? Is your state government ready to serve his people? Another thing, you can make your content without invading others' privacy. Let's continue. And we have, Caesar says, all this not just whining. Your voice just wants to start working now. They made the BRT available just for the matter to die down. Watch and see from next week, the BRT will reduce, and if you come back to shout, they won't take you serious. This is how Nigeria works. Well, she said she would keep talking about it. PJ says, I wish we can stand together like this to uproot bad governance as well. This goes to show that they see us and they hear us. They also see our seriousness and division, and that is why we have not been heard. We have Omotayo says, now imagine what we could have achieved together if we all get our PVC to vote for 2027. And we have one more. Okay, that is that. Now, the Ondo State government has introduced a new tax entitlement tax targeting social and corporate events across the state. Under the new policy, organizers of social gatherings such as weddings, burials, naming ceremonies, and birthday parties will be required to pay between 20,000 Naira and 25,000 Naira. Now, corporate events, however, will attract a higher levy of 50,000 Naira. But let's see what netizens are saying. Pascal is saying, soon before you say I do, someone will say, have you paid the government? Weddings, burials, birthdays, everything now comes with a reception. in Ondo State, Nigeria. It is well low. Okay, now Dipo is saying, I miss when Ondo State used to have a semblance of a governor. We currently do not have. Ondo State right now looks like when food prefect is asked to moderate an academic debate between 2 or more intelligent students. He can't wait for the dining bell to sound and then hearken to his calling. We have Tony who says, entertainment tax? What is the money meant for, and what qualifies someone to be taxed this fee? Well, it's going to be a lot. And this user says this new entertainment tax could boost state revenue, but it may also impact the frequency and scale of social and corporate events in Ondo State. And I think we have one more user in that. Okay, that is that. Now, the chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Blessing Abomere, has criticized youths in Edo State over complaints about insecurity. Abomere said many young people prefer to complain rather than take action against criminal activities in their communities. He also stated, and I said, instead of entering into the bush to chase all kidnappers out, many of them are sitting inside AC and complaining about insecurity. Let's take a look at this video.
Land has become too much. So the level of insecurity in our land has become too much, and we don't have to keep quiet. All of us, you see, what makes me laugh at times is that here we say we have a lot of men who have done kofra before. We have Rebel Coalition, we have this, we have that. Why will all of these people not come out, to ensure that we protect our people? Because we cannot continue to stay like this, We cannot continue to stay like this. And now that we have realized that government alone cannot help our people, we have to join government. We have to support government. We have to be volunteers, join all security networks, join even vigilante to ensure that we provide security for our people.
Saying we all need to enter the bush, but let's see what netizens are saying about that. And Top Guy is saying, I like this man. He's doing a great job. As you can see, even his wife and children are standing firmly behind him, ready and equipped with AK-47 and RPGs in support. We all can see that. And we have another digital sniper who says, tell the federal government to legalize rifles and leave the rest. We do not expect people to defend themselves, and your government will start rounding them up. You just sounded like you were wow. But let's continue. And we have Ken who says the same APC government will start to arrest the youths that are carrying unlicensed weapons for fighting these bandits. And Daniel says to end insecurity, provide jobs for youths. We have the population, so why not recruit young men and pay them? Did he say 1 M per month? Because insecurity will end rapidly. It's okay, 1 million naira. And Pierre says this is just the best way. Make we just bring out 1 month. Every community youth go mount forest. I swear, we go trace and capture all these terrorists. Okay, let's continue. And now, businesswoman Tracy Ohiri has issued a public apology to Nigerian Minister of Works David Umahi following allegations she previously made against him. Ohiri clarified that the minister never met her in a hotel room under the circumstances earlier suggested in her apology. She stated, and I quote, David Umahi never tied any rapper to meet me in the hotel room. I apologize to the minister for this embarrassment, and these allegations may have cost him and his family. Let's take a look at this video.
Good day, Nigerians. After proper consultation with my family, friends and legal team, and a painstaking review of events of the past weeks, I have come to the conclusion that it's important we give peace a chance. I admit that Engineer Deacon David Umahi, the former governor of the Ebonyi State and the current Minister of Works, did not inform me that what happened to the Neyland engineers would happen to me if I visit Ebonyi State. I do not know the Neyland engineers except what I read about them on the internet and what I heard from people. I apologize to Engineer Deacon David Umahi for the embarrassment this allegation may have cost him and his family. I sincerely apologize to his family, to my own family, friends, and everyone who felt hurt and embarrassed with what happened.
with everything that happened earlier, but let's see what netizens are saying. Don Azza says, this is the reason I can never call out anyone on behalf of another person. I don't know where una make una deal a beg. Once the accused makes an offer, the alleged victim cannot resist. You will be the one left ashamed. They might even turn around and lie against you. I beg, and no be police or the EFCC. And we have another user. Clergyman says, Nigerian women will embarrass you. Imagine the embarrassment this woman has caused people that protested for her. How will Showore feel? You guys are not beating the allegation. How did she even come up with such? So women have no other means to get back at men except accusing them of sexual harassment. This is very bad. How are we going to believe a genuine person who truly needs help going forward? And our masterpiece is saying, just as I've always said before, this woman should be ready to present her credible and reliable evidence to court. Let her prove all the things she has said about Engineer Dave Umahi, nothing short of that. We cannot tolerate this no more, where the citizens intentionally stage contents and all sorts of acting just to inflate the citizen against the government for clout chasing. And we have another user, Adebanji says, I never found her story particularly credible. It has been my observation that women can be credibly resourceful and determined when they have a specific objective in mind. They say, fear who no fear woman, but let's continue. Now, Sosa is saying, I like the spirit of discernment God gave me. Even though I don't like Umahi, I never believed her. The story wasn't straight and it didn't make sense to me. Those activists only cared about clout, and being on TV, they did not investigate. Okay? Let's continue. Now, finally, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has distributed food packages to Nigerians as part of efforts to cushion the effects of the current economic hardship. Now, the food items were shared with vulnerable citizens in different communities, with officials saying this initiative is aimed at supporting households struggling with rising living costs. Authorities say this intervention forms part of government's broader social support and measures to provide relief materials to Nigerians. A look at this video.
May God continue to bless Asiwaju and grant him progress. Where he is aspiring to reach, he will get there and go beyond there. Tinubu, whoever says you will not win second term will die untimely death. Kendu is my boss, and what he says.
Okay, let's see what netizens are saying concerning all of that. And Obola says, give a hungry person food, he will serve you. So starve them. Then when you show up with food that originally should belong to them, they see you as a hero. The weaponizing of poverty. And we have another user, Chimaobin says, rise them up. And X2 Breezy says, Nigeria life don't spoil, please, we still have lives. And Olayi Matha says, it no go better for those of una where they plan vote this government into power again. As I no fit sleep last night because of heat. Now so my God go give una sleepless night too. I think we have one more and the last reaction. Now Spandy Bobo says, 8 a.m. May 29th, 2023. The day Tinubu was sworn in. Dollar at the time was 460 naira. A liter of fuel was 197 naira. 1 kg of gas was 570. A crate of egg was 2,500. A bag of pure water was 150. A bag of rice, 50 kg, was 35,000 naira. 1 bag of cement, 4,000 naira. 3 years of Tinubu in office. $1 is now 1,400. A liter of fuel is now 1,300. 1 kg of gas is now 1,200. A crate of egg is 6,000 naira. A bag of water is 400 naira. A bag of rice, 50 kg, is 70,000 naira. And a bag of cement is 12,000 naira. It all goes to say, use your tongue to count your teeth. Now, that is it on Kakaaki Social this Friday morning. Keep the conversations going. You can reach us via social media handles displayed on the screen. And remember, your voice matters on the story shaping the society. Join us again for more trending updates from across Nigeria and around the world. My name is Chidera Izudoye.
Big moves. Little brain. Big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet comes with the nutrients they need every day. Made from natural grains, contains protein and fortified with iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
We don't like to eat better. More nutritious meals, more veggies. But we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr Cubes. That's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic. And enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Kafin fitowar rana na Afirka don baiwa iyali na ingantaccen karin kumallo da suke bukata domin tunkara wannan rana mai cike da ayyuka.
Mami yau zan yi samun babban kofin Milo. Ni mama.
Wannan ya wuce karin kumallo lokaci ne na musamman na iyalinmu.
To fa, anya akwai sauran Milo da baba zai samu.
Muna murna da zagayowar watan Ramadan tare da sinadarin da ke cikin Milo. Kafin fitowar rana na Afirka don baiwa iyali na ingantaccen karin kumallo da suke bukata domin tunkara wannan rana mai cike da ayyuka.
Mami yau zan yi samun babban kofin Milo. Ni mama.
Wannan ya wuce karin kumallo lokaci ne na musamman na iyalinmu.
To fa, anya akwai sauran Milo da baba zai samu.
Muna murna da zagayowar watan Ramadan tare da sinadarin da ke cikin Milo.
My baba, they always say, for market, every day get your own wahala. Sometimes people go on scan you. But Baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My baba remember OPay USSD lock, dial *955*131#. Baba press am, lock account. From market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now OPay, they protect people like us. My baba fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now OPay be the people payment shield.
Little body, big moves. Little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet comes with the nutrients they need every day. Made from natural grains, contains protein and fortified with iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time update. _live and AIT live stream 1 on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT on air, online, on live. Focus Nigeria. It's a huge task, but we take it on.
The law. National Assembly is not doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria. It is America that is doing hearing on insecurity in Nigeria.
Monday to Friday on Focus Nigeria, we identify the nagging issues.
Some people put people in poverty deliberate misplacement of priorities and brought people on their knees to suffer.
We seek answers to the tough challenges.
And because of the former president, yes, what I know is that he has not turned his membership card. He has not been attending your meeting.
Leave that to us to deal.
There's no shying away from the issues.
The system is
held accountable. The leaders are accountable for the funds, for the resources that they manage.
No sitting on the fence.
The same thing that made you live where you are may confront you.
Focus Nigeria, 10 a.m., Monday to Friday on AIT.
Welcome back to Kakaaki, the Africa Voice on Africa Independent Television. And we're still here. Exciting Kakaaki social, I must say. Interesting comments, from, social media. And I must say that, so much is happening, on social media. We saw the, should I say, food sharing that happened, during this season.
Now that you've mentioned it, I was telling one of my friends yesterday that me too, I want Ramadan, renewed hope Ramadan rice. I know that I'm not fasting with you guys now. Muslim now. Hey, I don't have to be. I'm a Nigerian. It's renewed hope. I need my hope renewed. Please, I need renewed hope Ramadan rice. I don't know where they are sharing that, but what I see on social media, endless view. You see the graphics and it's still going. We are looking for the end of the rice and everything they have to share. Like, people are unboxing and unboxing. Please, I want to unbox.
Can you carry carton on your head?
I can. If it's food, I can carry cartons on my head. On my head.
Another interesting one is with the BRT bus. To show you that, when Nigerians complain, there's response. Once there's heat, about issues that can be sorted. And I'm still wondering, where did those buses, come out from? If people have been suffering, waiting for hours in
my
queues.
point. That was the top story for me from yesterday's conversations and trends on social media. Ella, the dark-skinned girl, has been on the space of social media reporting every time. So people tell her, wake up early. And she says, waking up at 5 a.m. in Lagos is late. Because you get to the park, everybody is stranded. There are no buses, BRT, and people are advising her, take an Uber or something. It's like, how much do I even earn to get an Uber, like to and fro work every day? How about others? And, fighting for people, you have to be sure that people want to be fought for. Because you see that 2 days ago, before the government intervention yesterday, she was being threatened. Yeah, by that man. She was almost being beaten, even by a female. The one wearing a face cap. Yes, the one wearing a face cap that, don't do this, don't make videos. I don't want to be in your videos. The man now came and said, I was in your video. People are telling me that I'm in your videos. Don't put me there. Understandably, in the case of the man. But the woman who then came and said, I'm going to beat you, tell your father to bring buses to this bus stop. If you have to threaten the government, don't make videos of the government and all that. It was so sad that I'm making a case for all of us. Yes. But you have how do you enjoy staying on traffic for hours and hours, running late to work? You're not even sleeping. And then you're also coming back from work. You have to spend the same hours, the same time on traffic to get a BRT bus, and then you have to now wait. What sort of life is that? And as you said, where have these buses been? I know that she made a video yesterday and she said the Commissioner for Information of Lagos State spoke to her and they said there were going to be intervention. I mean, look at the number of buses that were put out there suddenly in 24 hours. Where have the buses been? Yes, people have argued that, okay, maybe they had to reroute the buses, take them from other places and bring them there. So why had nobody thought of it all year, all day, all weeks until there was that call yesterday? Yeah. I'm glad that she got what she got in terms of, the advocacy that she's made. The government finally came through, and now she's not only going to be the beneficiary. Yes, she's not only going to be the beneficiary solely. People would also be benefiting from that. And I see her workplace. I think that it's a smart workplace because I see that they've benefited. They've gifted her. I think they are paying her for the year, her transportation for the year. They will be paying it to and fro for her. And I think that they just want to cash out from her fame right now. And I'm afraid that she may resign because, she's going to be a big girl in no time and she might not want to be an employee anymore. But let's see what works for herself and the organization.
Yeah, thankfully, the Lagos State government and those in charge of the BRT, responded swiftly to all of the complaints. And hopefully we have, more of these swift reactions, to when issues when people
I don't want reactions. Let there be no reactions.
Even what I'm saying is, even when people raise these concerns, hopefully going forward, they can be able to continually, respond. Yes, we love a proactive, government, but when there are lapses and complaints are made, it's good that we have, swift response. So just trying to, balance everything out as well. We're moving on to our next conversation. We're supposed to have Adetunji Adeleye on the program, but at the moment we have our correspondent, that's Adesrin Joseph, standing by, and to talk on the decentralizing, security, the Amotekun experience. Thank you, Joseph, for joining us this morning.
And just to mention that Adetunji Adeleye is the commander of the Amotekun Corps, who should have joined us today, but his promise, because of an operation yesterday, he is not able to come out now. He will join us subsequently on Kakaaki. But let's join our correspondent, as you mentioned.
All right, Joseph, kindly tell us about the, Amotekun experience so far, from your own point of view as a correspondent.
All right, I can't hear you very well, but what I can tell you is the fact that we have some pockets of insecurity in Ondo State, and the government is trying its best to make sure that this is brought to the minimal level and nip in the bud. And I think we were supposed to join the commander of Amotekun this morning, but the reason why he could not join us, the fact that he's on operation. This morning he had to embark on an intelligent movement with his men to comb the forest around the danger spots in Ondo State, and that is why he could not join us. We have tried to join him, and that is why I have to come up this morning. But all I can tell you is the fact that it has not been easy here for both security agencies and the government. They have been trying to make sure they nip this in the bud. Kidnapping has become a recurrent case in Ondo State, and particularly in Akure North local government area of the state. So the government are not relenting, and the people are also agitating. If you see the earlier report I filed, there have been pockets of protests around Akure, which is the state capital, and other local governments in the state about the havoc these men have caused Ondo State. And I think the government are doing their own to make sure that they nip this in the bud.
All right, Joseph, we are aware that Amotekun Corps was established for the 6 southwestern states of Nigeria. But as it is right now, yes, we understand that it was the idea of the late governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu. However, do you see, or have you noticed that Amotekun is much more in Ondo State right now and not exactly across the 6 states?
All right, it's not again saying that Akiti brought this idea. The late Akiti, the former governor of Ondo State, initiated this idea of local policing and ensuring that we save ourselves in the southwest. But it is more prominent in Ondo State that Amotekun is working well. And I think other state governors too should emulate this to make sure that they tackle crime to the barest minimum. But we will not say they are not doing their best. Other states, they are doing their best too. But on those states have been on the front burner. And, the Amotekun commander have been doing his best to make sure that he nip crime in the bud. And even the state government. But I think they should take a cue from Ondo State also and make sure that all these headers and all these kidnappers and the terrorists disturbing our regions and are nip in the bud and taken back to where they belong. But I think one thing we should also work on is the fact that using modern technology to tackle this development, the time of using normal way, conventional way of tackling banditry, kidnapping, and other criminal activities in the country has gone. We should employ the use of technology, drones, and other and other technologies. And that is why the government should also come into the federal government, the state government, to invest more in securing the lives and property of its people, of its citizens. And that is why most of them, virtually all state governors, they receive allocations for security votes and the likes. So, and this is when these will come to play, and this is when they should spend this money. They should invest more in technology and to nip crime in the bud. But for Ondo State, they are trying their best, but we think they can do more to ensure that the lives and property of the citizens are well protected.
All right, Joseph, when you say you would suggest that other state governments also make effort to see that Amotekun is as effective in their state as much as it is in Ondo State, it suggests that you have, because that's your zone, you have seen that this is about leadership and not exactly about the core not being effective in this state. From your assessment so far, would that be the case really, that it's about leadership? Or do you think that they are also trying to bet local security core as well to say, oh, this came from my state?
Well, if you can hear me properly, I think I'm on ground, and what I can just detect earlier, what I said was the fact that they should deploy more technology to fighting, these people, because security issue have gone beyond normal conventional way of fighting it. We should deploy more ways, modern ways of tackling insecurity, and that is why state government, not only on those states, state government must devise means of investing more in technology, and that can combat with these people. They are in the forest. They dwell in the forest. They live in the forest. They know the terrain very well. And these are places where you cannot access. These are places take bite to. And I think there's more for us to do. And the more for us to do is to invest more in technology. And if the investment in technology, drones and the likes, intelligence gathering, and that is when we can have it good. And it's not only in Ondo State, it's across the Southwest State, even across the country. So investing more in technology will assist. I've been on ground. The terrain these people are is very, very clumsy and is very, very somehow. So I've seen some ideas the security agencies are putting in place, the Amotekun, the police, the army, the DSS. They are trying their best, but most of them are without down ways of tackling these people, and these people have gone. If I must tell you, I think there's need for us more to ensure that state police come to play, because the federal government has said state police, they have concurred that state police will help us in the country. I think there's more for us to dwell more on investing more in making sure that state police come to play. And if this come to play, then that will be best for us. And I think there's more for us to invest more to equip our local vigilantes, the Amotekun, the police, because these people we are dealing with, they have more sophisticated weapons than our men have, than the Amotekun have, than the police have. So there's need for us to equip them more on how to function well and how to do their job very well.
Okay, I'd also like to know, Joseph, is there any signs of differences in terms of Amotekun's approach, what their kind of services, they are rendering, to these states as compared to conventional, policing?
Is there any differences from Amotekun to conventional police?
Well, you're saying, is there any differences? Well,
yeah, what are the differences?
Police, they are doing their own, and Amotekun, they are doing their own. But I think Amotekun can work more. They can live more with the people. They can dwell more with the people. The police, we just have most places they don't have police posts. And but Amotekun they can dwell more within the people. They can know the pulse. They can feel the pulse, and that is why we must arm them. We must invest more in Amotekun, and that is why we're saying Amotekun have come to stay. And how can it come to stay? Is the fact that they must be well equipped. If they are not well equipped, then we begin to have issues. But I can say the police are doing their job. They are doing their own. But when we talk of neighborhood policing, or we talk of conventional policing, and when we talk of neighborhood, then that's where Amotekun comes to play, and that is when we must invest more in them. And that is good for everybody, and that is good for those states, and that's good for Nigeria as a whole.
All right, now also to the people, in these states, how have they perceived Amotekun so far as well? How has the reception been?
I didn't get you.
How have the people of these states, Ondo and Co., perceived Amotekun?
Perceived Amotekun.
Well, Amotekun is a baby of the Southwest. Amotekun is the baby of Ondo State. I think they are very happy with the fact that Amotekun have come to stay. And I must say the truth. The people, they like Amotekun. They like the work they do. But the only hindrance is the people are also saying the fact that they must be well equipped, because the people they are facing, they are more sophisticated. So they must bring to play the modern way of tackling crime in the country. So the people are accepting Amotekun. Amotekun is not 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years. I think it's over 6 years, or if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's 6 years.
And I think it has been replicated in about 4 or 5 states of the Southwest region. So I think they should be more equipped. People are not having issue with Amotekun in Ondo State. So, and I think the only thing we can work on is the fact that we urge on the federal government to equip these people more and make sure that they tackle banditry, kidnapping, and also on other social vices in the Southwest and also in Ondo State.
All right, thank you, Joseph. Now we've ruled out the gains, the wins, and the key importance of having them in the Southwest. Are you aware of some of the challenges they've had to face carrying out their duty?
Challenges of well, the challenges I think they are facing is the fact that they are not well equipped. And they have dedicated men, they have people that are ready to work, they have people that are ready to protect lives and property of the people. But the only thing that I feel and that I've seen myself is the fact that they are not well equipped. They are like I said earlier, they are faced with people that are more certificated. So, and I think there's more for them to be equipped also to face these people head on and to tackle this insecurity challenge in the Southwest and in those states. So I think the funding is not the problem, but the funding should be directed at equipping them. If the funding is there and they are not well equipped, then that's the problem. The operatives should be taken care of. They should be given good packages, and they should be placed on several benefits, and also insurance. Insurance also, they should be well equipped. Insurance also should come to play, because if you are going to facing these people, we will know there will be casualties on the part of the victims, of the operatives, and also on the part of the people perpetrating these acts. But they should be there should be more insurance package for them. And I think Ondo State government is working towards this direction to make sure that they have good package at the end of the day, because no doubt there will be loss of lives on the part of the operatives of Amotekun. But they should know what they are fighting for. They should know that at the end of the day, even if they are going, their family, their children will be well protected at the end of the day. So I think the government also should work on giving them, life benefit insurance that will sustain their lives and property, even if deaths come to play at the end of the day. But I can tell you, these men, they are very dedicated. They are doing their job, but they should be well equipped. And that is why even most of them are feed their pulse. They want the federal government to equip them more. All this equipment they are carrying, it cannot work with the people they are facing. They should be allowed to carry more sophisticated weapon, and so that they can nip these people. They can nip the crime in the bud at the end of the day.
All right, thank you so much, Adesunyo Joseph, AIT correspondent. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And thank you. You wore some big shoes this morning. You have to step in the office of the commander. Yes, thank you so much, Joseph. Have a nice day.
Well, hopefully we can have the commander, subsequently.
Oh, definitely. He promised to join us regardless, except for the operation last night.
All right, just to look at some, comments on YouTube. This individual, Emeka, says state of emergency needs to be declared in the power sector. It has become a national embarrassment. Well, that's a big one. Then on the health, thank you, sir. Education on proper food storage and improving security can help reduce the occurrence of Lassa fever. And we also have Apo saying Nigeria should handle this issue of meningitis immediately. We should not take it lightly like we did to the coronavirus initially until it spread around the country. So just looking at...
I see Obina Onyema 4736A. Can you have an engineer head the judiciary or an engineer head the medical sector? But when it comes to power, you see lawyer heading the sector and you expect result. Federal government should ensure we have round peg in a round hole. No, you should. I think you missed that. Federal government, we should actually have round pegs in round holes.
This person here, Ebonyi Francis, is making a suggestion to the president. He says, if you ask me, I will say Wike should be deployed to the power ministry because he's a strict man and wants to show capacity.
Yeah, Mr. Project.
As he's called here. Well, we'll see if Mr. President going forward will make that kind of consideration as well. Well, we have to take a pause on the comments for now because it's time to bring you entertainment and lifestyle. Do stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment and Lifestyle on Kakaaki, the African Voice. I am Chidera Ezugwe. The Oscars, which will hold at Dolby Theatre Los Angeles on March 16th, 2025, will not only hand out golden statues, they will celebrate two cultural phenomena in memorable musical moments that go beyond just trophies. The organizers of the award have confirmed that this year's show will spotlight two films whose music has stirred audiences across the globe. Netflix's animated sensation K-pop Demon Hunters and the record-breaking drama Sinners. K-pop Spectacle Golden, the Oscar-nominated original song from K-pop Demon Hunters, takes center stage in a theatrical tribute, blending traditional Korean instruments, dance, and modern pop performance. The voices behind the fictional girl group Hunter R, EJ, Audrey Nona, and Rai Amy will perform live, honoring not only the song's Oscars nod, but also the cultural heart of the story that helped make the animated film a global hit. This isn't just a performance. It's a celebration of choreography and international pop culture converging on the Oscar stage. A musical ode to Sinners, the second major highlight comes from Sinners, the most nominated film in Oscar history this year. Its original song, I Lied to You, is also featured in a live segment that doubles as a cinematic tribute exploring how music serves the heart of the film's story. Miles Carton and Raphael Sadiq will lead the performance with Misty Copeland, blues legends like Buddy Guy and Bobby Rush, and artists such as Brittany Howard, Christian Kingfish, Shabazzy, joining in a rich genre spanning homage. Executive producers explain that these moments are designed to go beyond simple song presentations. They are story-driven cinematic blends of performance, dance, and emotional resonance. With Conan O'Brien returning as host and a star-studded lineup of presenters on the bill, expect this year's Oscars to be as musically unforgettable as they are glamorous. Afrobeat star Omale has sparked conversations with his latest remarks on the reach of Afrobeat music in Nigeria. In a recent interview, Omale explained that Afrobeat seems to resonate most strongly in Lagos and among the Yoruba community. He attributed this to the genre's roots in Lagos's vibrant music scene and the cultural influence of the Yoruba people on the rhythm, the style, and the language of Afrobeats. According to the singer, while Afrobeat is gaining international attention, its heart and soul remain closely tied to the streets of Lagos, where the energy, culture, and storytelling of the genre were born. Omale's comments have stirred debate online, with fans from other regions questioning whether Afrobeat can truly belong to just one city or ethnic group, or if it's a genre that belongs to all Nigerians. Well, whatever the perspective, there's no denying that Lagos continues to be the beating heart of Afrobeats, shaping sounds that are now heard around the world. Iconic girl group The Pussycat Dolls are back. the pop sensation have officially confirmed their long-awaited reunion. In a statement, the group said the reunion is about celebrating where we are as women, emphasizing empowerment, growth, and friendship as central themes of their comeback. Fans can expect a fresh mix of nostalgia and new energy as the group prepares to hit the stage again. The Pussycat Dolls rose to fame in the 2000s with chart-topping hits and unforgettable performances. Their reunion marks a joyful return to music, reconnecting with old fans while inspiring a new generation. While details of tour dates and new releases are still emerging, one thing is clear. The Pussycat Dolls are ready to shine once more, celebrating music, sisterhood, and the power of women. That is an entertainment and lifestyle. On Kakaaki, the African Voice, I am Shidera Izubu.
Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed entertainment and lifestyle there with Shidera as well. And we've come to the end of another beautiful show today for another beautiful week, and we're looking forward to next week, but we have to enjoy the weekend first and foremost, I must say.
TGIF, I see that Chooks is rushing. Maybe there's a happy hour or something.
No, it's sleep. It's just sleep.
Oh, congratulations to you. I have a report at the airport right now. All right, everyone, thank you so much for being here and doing your week and your Friday with us. I am Onosho Rena Obozege, Rena OBO on the space of social media. We can always talk, as I say, before we see the next day on the show. To have yourself a fantastic weekend. And I am Chukwuyenum Onwuka, Greg _Chooks on social media as well. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you all next week on Kakaaki.